Yes, you can sell it.
Did you see what I did?
You good?
That's a little bit low.
They still want it closed.
She just got some, whatever.
It's just her.
Yes. Just gotta work through it.
There's no way, you know what?
No, you're not gonna win and until she retires. She's afraid of her own shadow. So,
Let Justin and Mark in the meeting.
Fine, you know, but-
So take it about, it's 47.5 in place of 110, is that right?
Yes, but then there's another,
Yeah, but that's not a settlement, that's paying for balance
Yep.
that we owe them.
yeah, this is, yeah.
Do that in this,
Yeah.
But that's why I was trying to find them in 15 pages.
Here we go.
Couldn't agree with you more, Herb.
You ready?
Well, he probably drafted that agreement. He
Travis is good to go.
probably dictated it and had Peter type it
Yeah.
out, because his son thinks he's a lawyer too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Peter, oh my God, it's worse.
No, he's not.
Oh,
He's the
He's
best.
the best.
He's the best. Apple tree, right there.
All set, Chris?
We're ready to
Yeah,
start,
so
are we?
more people are gonna be coming in.
No, that's.
Now we got
that
Mark,
should
we got Justin, Janine's usually here, yep,
be- Justin, Janine, and Mark.
yeah, great.
We're good? Yes.
Assuming we can hear them and they can hear us. All right.
Call the meeting order, we have a quorum. Yes. Minutes for review and approval of September 20. I move we approve the minutes. Second. Any additions, corrections, comments?
I do have a correction. Page 2 of the minutes, first, second line on the new business, while I would like to, well, maybe I wouldn't like to, but it said that I was here to answer any questions you might have about this project. My name, it was not I, it was
That's gotta be somebody else.
somebody from the hospital, so if we can change that.
Is that page 2?
Yeah, it's either gotta be Jason Lush or the developer.
Development, it was actually here to answer, so that,
Well, they both were here, but yeah.
Andy,
Photos.
photos, yes.
Please, thank you for catching that.
Any other corrections? Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Bills, communication.
I will speak to this. You have bills this month. First one here is from NICEAG, in the amount of $263.01. And third is quarter invoice. Let's see that here. Total amount for that is $5,050.36. Move to accept.
Motion is seconded to pay our bills. Discussion on bills. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Treasurer's report, please.
All right, not a whole lot of activity in this last month here. Only real line item revenue was money on the interest and short-term savings. As discussed in last month, we will be moving that current CD into the savings account. I will have that done the next day here as it hits maturity on the 20th. The other major item that came in that month was our legal notice, as well as some work done for the park there. So we're operating at a loss for this current month, negative $2,564. That was September.
Okay, on that note, I received a call from Generation Bank. And our CD that we already had recognized was due, and they wanted to know why we weren't gonna renew it. And I explained that we wanted to, that the interest rate was so low that we wanted to just keep it in a savings account, because we needed to be liquid. with the upcoming projects. She called me back and said she talked to her supervisor and that they would go up to 1% for the CD, which I told her we didn't even want to continue, but I talked with John. It's our feelings that we just want to leave it liquid.
That's what we agreed to do,
Yeah.
and I think that's still the right thing to do.
Yeah,
Yes.
Cuba Lake National Bank, we just changed the town money. They've got a 2.5%, I think, for 7 months. So that was kind of,
I mean, those are nice rates. But
it's not material.
yeah, if we need to,
Yeah.
if we think we're not gonna need it for 7 months, it'd be great to hop in there, no doubt about it. But if we need to use that money between now and 7
Right.
months, and for what we're gonna be doing,
Yeah,
it's probably,
even the 2%'s not. Well, it was kind of nice for the town because we had a couple $1 million. So.
the town receives their money at different to the tax. So you have to have, it's like school, where you had
And the
to have
second,
that fund that carry you through to the next tax levy.
yeah, the 7 month was kind of nice for that.
So that's all I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. I had a conversation. Is there a motion to pay the bills? Or is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Unfinished. Update on the sewer. You want to do that later, Rick?
Yeah, we're gonna go in executive session at the end of the meeting.
CCDC loan resolution.
So this, to remind the board here, you had approached Steve Lynch and their board about getting loans set up to assist with some of the expenses going into next year here. They, the board there would like to have a decision on whether or not we will be proceeding with that. Because they kept that set aside in lieu of entertaining other projects right now. So the resolution on the table for question is whether or not to go forth with the CCDC loan or not.
Oh, I thought somebody was going to do a financial statement on this sewer thing to show us whether we really were going to need any money or not.
Mhm.
you did that, Michael.
Right, I did do that, and I had shared it. Did not share it specifically in the meeting. I had shared that just between us. As it was, my counsel through that was to take loan due to the uncertainty of what's going on in the markets, especially over this next year, and to have that additional padding would be very helpful. The terms that are being proposed by CCDC, I believe to be very fair, if not outright friendly. You won't be charged anything for 6 months on any drawdown. There is an application fee that you would not be charged unless you drew down on that loan itself.
Yeah, and with those considerations, I think we should, I'd make the motion, we enter into the loan. Because really, there's no cost to us. And then if we need it, we've got it.
But I think we're avoiding answering his question, and I think his question is, do we want them to set aside money to be available for us? And if we're just safeguarding this, we're not really telling them we want money set aside for this.
Well, but I think we expressed that all to Mr. Lynch, right?
Yes,
So
so
I'm just going by his,
Yeah, I
why
think,
it's on the agenda for
I
today.
think it was understood that we potentially may not need the money.
right, and it's my feeling that going into next year, there's especially more recent news of not a very good outlook of what's going on. You have a great rate locked in with this loan right now. If you really don't need the money, you can just cancel that contract with them.
And we don't pay the upfront fee unless we actually.
Draw down on it.
Okay.
So what are the closing fees?
I believe, I would have to get back to you on that specific document, because I don't have it right here in front of me.
I would, if there are no fees involved in what we're doing today, I will go along with.
I can reach out to Mr. Lynch tomorrow, assuming there's support from the board here on that, which we will have to take a roll call vote on.
Is there a second? Or
Yes.
motion been made and seconded? Are you ready for a roll call vote?
Yes,
Just to be specific, whoever is, are you keeping the minutes?
She is.
Oh, sorry, I'm not looking way down there. We're approving this, subject to that there are no fees unless we actually draw down money. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. We're gonna vote.
All right, Mr. Lockwood,
Yeah,
Mr. Landnischen,
Abstain.
Ms. Spino,
Yes.
Mr. Rainflesh,
Yes.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mr. Marshall.
Yes.
It was close.
all members voting aye with one absent. Carried. CETA update.
So there's a couple things here, as it may have been mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, is there are a couple of power projects under consideration. We're working through those right now and believe they may be ready for board to entertain going into next month. There is also a site transfer project in the works as well that's being considered. It may not be ready for the board to entertain next month in particular, but potentially December at the latest. The other item I would like to bring up here is Taylor Signs leaving our firm. We have Miss Christine Martinsky sitting at the end of our table here.
Christine is first name?
Chris.
Chris, okay.
Hi, Chris here.
Nice to meet you.
Chris is bringing a long history in office management and an accounting background as well, most recently from Catholic Charities out of Syracuse. She joined our firm roughly a month ago, specifically as CETA's office manager. One of the items I have on here later in our meeting is to ask the board to on board Ms. Martinsky here in Taylor's position as treasurer for the IDA here. I believe she would be a very good fit and very supportive to this board.
Last thing, I or Y?
Hi. MARTY and SKI.
That's all I have on the CETA update.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I have a seated complaint.
Uh-oh.
This is is this personnel, or should be an executive session, or?
I don't do things in the executive sessions.
It's the wrong meeting, Kurt.
Unless you hit me. But Taylor got through. Apparently, she gave a 2 weeks notice that she was getting through.
Let's talk about that in executive session. If you're using names, if you,
Yeah, it's,
I'm sorry.
I agree with the attorney.
I will save that for our executive session.
Are we ready for new business?
Yes.
Back to the fun stuff. Eagle Drive Holdings LLC. Authorizing resolution for land development agreement with a copy of LDA.
This is included in everyone's board packet here. I believe I had a chance to speak with every member present last Friday about the proposed terms of the project.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
What are we approving? What part of this, is this specifically the sale?
And development agreement, yes.
Justin, is this the sale? We're approving the sale?
This is the contract for sale of the land associated with the bottling plant proposal, Eagle Drive Holdings LLC. The IDA's approval of proposed pilot financial assistance would come later on. But in essence, this is the land development agreement where they commit to purchase the land at the agreed price that we've been working on for the past 6 or 7 months, along with the other terms necessary for Eagle Drive Holdings to close on the land itself, which should be after IDA approval of the pilot, following site plan and seeker review conducted by the town planning board.
Right, and it's in the packet.
So it's just the land, Justin, not the benefits, just land?
That's correct. Yeah, we're starting to work on the parameters of a proposed pilot agreement for both projects. We'll be able to work on those and flush those out hopefully in the next couple of months.
When we discussed the sale originally, I think John brought up the sale was contingent upon it being used in a certain length of time. Did you not?
Yes, yes. Well, right, so that there be development on the land and not held as investment, I guess, or just land to be sold later. Is that in there, Justin, or does it have to be in there?
Yeah, the LDAs can contain a development term for them to complete town planning, and we have some obligations to work with the county to discontinue a portion of the Eagle Drive. The land itself can only be acquired by Eagle Drive Holdings and then the other LDAs for Cuba Milk Ingredients directly. It's for these specific projects. So the pilot agreement and the IDA leaseback will close the same time as the land transfer. So with financing and our IDA documents closing it all at the same time, that would eliminate the possibility of what I think you're getting at is a land banking or someone buying for investment purposes and holding that.
Yes,
That won't be allowed under this structure.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
So was there a motion on this? If not, I would move that.
To do, I'm sorry,
Yeah, I moved Bob
So I'm stuck.
Is that both?
but I'd be willing to sell,
Is that both A and B?
no, just the first one, right? Just the first one.
This is for the Eagle Drive Holdings portion, and I can't see the, to the left of Rick, so I'm not sure if you have guests or if you want to.
Yeah.
Anyone from Cuba Milk or Eagle Drive is there just to talk a little bit about the project overview, top level stuff and where they are with their planning process. That might be a good time if Amy or anyone else is on aboard here to fill the IDA board and on kind of where things stand.
Yes, so for Eagle Drive Holdings, it is the intent to build on the land that we're acquiring. We're not just acquiring land to hold it. We'll be working on, we're working through the final engineering stages of the building that will go on this lot. It is planned to be 130,000 square foot building for the bottling facility. The plan would be to break ground in the spring and really be moving quite quickly here through the winter to get the financing finalized and the plans approved by the town. We have met with the town to go over initial plans with them, just make sure that everyone is aligned, but we're looking forward to moving ahead and hopefully bringing another 75 jobs along with this building. So.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
this is just for A, right?
Yeah, we need to do a roll
Okay,
call.
yep. Any further discussion? There's nothing to do with pilots or nothing yet.
No.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Lockwood,
Yes.
Mr. Latinishton,
Yes,
Ms. Spino,
Yes.
Mr. Reinfleisch.
Yes,
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mr. Marshall.
Yes.
Yes.
All members voting aye, with the one member being absent, carried. B,
I move we approve B.
Second,
motion made and seconded, but approving B. Discussion.
Roll call. Mr. Lockwood,
Yes,
Mr. Lanition,
Yes.
Ms. Spino,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan Flesh,
yes.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mr. Marshall.
Yes.
all members voting aye, with one absent. It is approved.
Takes a lot of time to get there though, doesn't
It
it?
does, but thank you guys for your support. So it means a lot.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, yes.
Are we going to discuss the second part of what he's done or not at this time?
The fees.
There was a proposal with an administrative fee paid over a period of time. And I see no connection between that and the pilot. And I never understood that we had an administrative fee other than what was out of the pilot.
Justin still there?
Yes, sir.
I don't think he heard you.
Justin, it's me giving you trouble again. I didn't understand what a $400,000 administrative fee, where you got that and what that has to do with this project.
For the Eagle Drive Holdings project, yeah, that was the amount to be paid, I believe, up front. We talked several times in past months about how to size the administrative fee for the Eagle Drive Holdings project in particular, because of its size. It's $135 million, give or take. And the IDA's administrative fee policy of 1% would create a pretty extraordinary fee, and is certainly an outlier well beyond any typical project coming to the IDA in the $10 or $20 million range on the larger side. So you may recall, we talked about providing Eagle Drive Holdings with forms of credit in recognition of the infrastructure costs associated with that project. They need to extend gas, water, build the new roadway on the north side of the park as the Eagle Drive extends to the western border, and other items that were estimated to be around $800,000, going back into our discussions in May, June, and July. So that left us around a $500,000, give or take, or $600,000 negotiated fee amount. Since that time, the applicant has split the project in two. One side being Cayuga Milk Ingredients with around $16 million in improvements and application amount on that side, and around 135 on the Eagle Drive Holdings side. After some discussion, it was agreed that it'd be simpler, as opposed to auditing all of their infrastructure expenses, to come up with a flat amount of IDA fee that works for both parties. The Cayuga Milk Ingredients fee will be per schedule at $16 million. So the IDA's administrative fee will be the corresponding $160,000. The Eagle Drive Holdings portion, if I remember correctly, is somewhere around $440,000, of which 75% would be paid at closing, and then portions deferred out until the project stabilized on the 5th anniversary.
Oh, so Justin, when you say administrative fee, you're really talking about the pilot charge, right?
That's correct. That's right.
They're not two separate things, so we really will not discuss the administrative fee until there is an agreement between us and the milk plant people
Yeah,
about
when we
what
see
the
the
pilot
pilot.
might be, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
We're
fine.
setting the fees in this LDA, so there's an understanding on the amounts. The pilots will be negotiated here in the next few months.
You can't negotiate the pilot if you've already set an administrative fee, Justin.
That's not correct. And respectfully, the amount of administrative fee is just the charge that is paid by them at the pilot closing. The terms of the pilot are whatever we happen to come to terms with the applicant and with your support.
If I was the milk plant, I wouldn't agree on an administrative fee until I knew what the agreement on the pilot was going to be, but I'm not the milk plant, so maybe you get along better with them. I think we need to do it together, not the possibility of two different charges to them.
What two different charges, Herbie? I'm sorry. The LDAs have been approved, so we're kind of going backwards here a little bit, but and we can do this offline as well if it makes more sense, but happy to answer any questions and address those. The fees that are being included in the LDAs are for planning purposes, largely because of their escalating construction costs and the cost of borrowing blowing up in the last 2 or 3 months. So
Yeah.
giving them comfort now on the maximum fee amount. We didn't want to get down the road negotiating the pilot and then have the board determine right, wrong, or indifferent that we're going to charge a full $1.35 million to EDH. We're trying to give them some cost certainty as we get into the project going forward.
Justin, I think that's what I'm trying to say. You need to deal with both of them at the same time. You can't charge them an administrative fee and then let us determine a pilot fee on top of that. That the both of them have to be done together, not separately.
The administrative fee is the pilot fee, Herbie. There's no different fee. It's what's collected when we close on a pilot sometime next year, presumably.
Okay, so you're proposing an administrative fee, which basically is going to be what the pilot is. Is that what you're saying?
That is not what he said.
No,
as I
there's no
understand it.
administrative fee on the pilot. It's for,
This is a separate business deal altogether. The land
We've
acquisition.
already done that.
Yes.
Land acquisitions,
But that's a separate deal from what will be discussed with the pilot.
Right, and I think the Herb's point, it would be better for us to come to terms. I think we have some kind of understanding.
it would be better for us and the milk plant
To come to some
to
terms.
do the terms of the whole thing at once, not to do an administrative fee and
Even if,
pile it up in the air after that.
right, even at this point, if it was just a matter of
But if that's not
understanding.
what we're discussing today.
That is not what we're discussing today.
We've got to sail.
Sales through,
Completely done.
we will proceed forward as a pilot.
It's separate.
Okay.
no, there will be a pilot.
Mike did call you and explain to you the negotiations we've had.
Yes,
The negotiations with the
There's no
sale.
pilot fee. This is the fee.
No, not with the pilot for this LDA agreement here. That's what we talked about on Friday.
Yes.
Okay,
If you're asking, then, yes, I was in on the discussion to know what the administrative fee
Mhm.
is and how it's going to be paid.
okay.
My question still is, and then I'll get off of it. We can't settle on an administrative fee and then come back and charge them for it. Maybe that's not what's in the works, but it certainly sounds to me like that could possibly be a possibility, and I don't think that's fair. Okay, we're not doing that today.
Is there administrative, will there be an administrative fee on the pilot?
Yes.
Yes, okay. In addition to the 440 that was just approved.
Because they're two
Okay.
separate.
There could be a separate.
Go ahead, Justin.
Okay, I don't know.
This is the administrative fee, and the LDA has the fee to be set for both projects. So I don't want to get confused or have the impression that there's another fee to be charged at some point. They're going to buy the land on the terms that we agreed to, and the admin fee to be charged at the closing with the pilot. We're agreeing to that too in the LDA.
So the only thing left is the terms of the pilot itself and no other fee discussion.
That's correct.
This is the only fee we will collect from CMI.
Eagle Drive Holdings and CMI, right? Yeah, the CMI version, there's no break, no negotiation. It's per schedule, 1%. The Eagle Drive Holdings version is a negotiated amount, again, based on a whole bunch of things that they're doing in the park above and beyond. And, to give them a certainty on what their closing costs largely are gonna look like when we get to that point.
So it's 160 on CMI.
Yep.
And then 400 on Eagle Drive,
Yeah, 440 on that side, I believe, yeah.
440, so 600,000 total.
Yep. And you're looking at about $1 million on the land.
Okay,
If we close on the LDAs in the next few weeks, as we anticipate the 10% deposits, which are non-refundable, will be collected at that time too. So in the near term, before the next meeting, we presume that around $100,000 of deposits on the land will be collected. And when we get to the next closing, the balance on land, 900,000 plus 600,000 in administrative fees would be payable. Around a quarter of that is deferred. So let's call that, whatever a quarter of 600,000 is.
Yeah.
Doing quick math there, I apologize.
thanks, Justin.
That's 450 at closing and 150 deferred 5 years. So in the big picture, if they do intend to close and proceed with construction, let's call it by April 1st, the IDA can reasonably book revenue in 2023 of 1.45 million with a deferred receivable of 150,000 on the 5 years from that date. That's a combination of purchase money on the land and administrative fees. I think I talked with Michael a little bit about budget setting on and to include those as well.
Good.
Further discussion on that. Onboarding the secretary, CFO resolution.
So as mentioned, this is my proposal to see the board here for Ms. Martinsky to assume Keller's previous responsibilities as maintaining secretarial and treasurer responsibilities for the IDA. I'll move.
Is there a second? Thank you. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Usually there's a lot more discussion, so.
Cake is good.
A bottle of water.
We want to give authority to her to deal with banks.
I would say as much.
Yeah. I'll make that motion to
Second.
give Chris authority to deal with transact business with our banks.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Report from the finance committee. Mr.
You want to
Mike?
go over, you want me to go over?
I'd say it's my assumption that the committee chair would go over. I'm happy to discuss that.
That's all right. So the committee met, we discussed the 2023 proposed budget. And I believe you all have that in the back of your packets. You see some, everybody have a copy?
Yeah.
You'll find some with red, some numbers in red, some in yellow. It's a one-page copy. So the 2023 budget is the column all the way to your right, based on what we expect to take in and what we expect to pay out. First column, all the way to your left, is what we anticipate that we end the year at this year. The discussion, some of the discussion points were the project fees for so far this year or through the end of this year, as well as what we will be collecting in project fees for next year. Those include the fees we just voted on with CMI and Eagle Drive, as well as at least a couple of power projects that might be coming in to see us. So that's that 856,000 plus. We also discussed administrative services. You'll see that that's highlighted in yellow. That is simply just to notify us that that contract will be up. The contract between CEDA and CCIDA is up for renewal at the end of this year. That's
23, 22.
this year, 22. Discussed the CEDA fee share, which is that line item 62,131. That is going to get changed based on a formula. As you all recall, we have a formula that says that we take our project fees, whatever fees we might get for the year, and just project fees. And from that, we subtract our expenses, CCIDA's expenses, with whatever's left over. CEDA takes 20% and we keep the rest. That 4980 will be recalculated. Michael's going to be providing us with an updated number probably later today, no later than end of this week anyways, but today and probably tomorrow, as time allows. We discussed Harris Beach. What a great job they do. The amount where because of what we believe to be increased activity next year, we're plugging in 10,000. However, again, the part of the other discussion was that for Justin, it's usually driven by specific projects, so we don't incur those costs that the projects do. But just in case, we budgeted the 10. And then we went down to help me out, Michael. That's really about it. So all in all, we look to end next year on a very positive note. If these income and expenses numbers come in, and we're fairly certain that income will be good because we just approved the lion's share of what we hope to collect in fees for next year. Questions?
I would move that we approve this budget with the understanding that we're going to enter into a discussion as to the 20% and how the 20% is going to be figured before the end of the year, so that we have that for next year.
Yeah, and the only other thing is, we're gonna need to buy some property.
Yeah, but again, it's a budget is it's fluid for the most part.
It's just a roadmap.
Yeah, it does not take into account that, but you're right, Andy, we
Well, we're good, you're putting the land sale in,
Yeah.
and really that should be offset with a purchase.
right. I think there's a motion for a second.
Second, yeah.
In favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Thanks, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, nice job.
Executive session.
Chairman, I would
I would ask the board to go in executive session, I guess, for personnel issues and contract negotiations and possible litigation.
Second.
And I would ask that Mark Chambers,
All in favor?
Mark Chambers attend as well, and of
Sure.
course, Justin, if he wants to.
Right.
No, we didn't agree.
Bye.
It's in the-
You're with us. Listen, you can post data, it's okay. Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's somebody else on there. I don't know who that is.
I think
No,
Carol's
that's
on.
me.
Oh, that's you,
That
okay.
looks wiggly,
To
it's
answer your
me.
question,
Okay.
we did
You did.
I have
440
to.
and 16. That, oh. City LDO. It's in the LDA result.
Only on YouTube, not the.
No, I know, that's what I'm trying to see.
This might be where you want to
No,
ask.
but he was asking, did we approve the administrative fee for the
So
CETA
you
person?
did-
Oh,
Zoom
for
is
the
down
casino.
here. Zoom is in
For
there.
CETA
No,
from CMI. Yes. Yes.
that was in the sale.
You